Florida legislative session just wrapped up, and while some legislators say the job is not done and they got to go back to finish the job, Governor Ron Desantis just quietly signed a new bill into law. And that's kind of odd considering how he normally does his bill signing ceremonies. He's known for, going to some politically charged area, having, some type of stage scene behind him, whether it be firefighters, a big wind turbine, kids. He doesn't give a damn. Whatever he can use as a backdrop, he normally uses as a backdrop to just gain some political points. And when Governor DeSantis signed House Bill 1205 into law, just quietly under the radar, no fanfare, no pomp and circumstance, no real attention behind it, it made me say, why did he do this like that? And it's because of what is involved in House Bill 1205. House Bill 1205 is a bill that changes the requirements for getting citizen led initiatives on the ballot. What that means is that it's just got harder for the residents of Florida to get anything put on the ballot for the residents of Florida to vote on. Now, ballot initiatives led by citizens is something that's been going on well over 50 years in Broward County in the state of Florida. Now, it's not something new. It's something that's I don't say always. It's something that's been there for a very long time, and the process has been pretty straightforward. We've seen this. We've seen this process be used to limit the number of students that are in classes in the state of Florida, ban offshore drilling on our beautiful, beautiful beaches, restore voting rights, raise the minimum wage. You get the idea that these initiatives are not just willy-nilly crazy initiatives. These are things that are done by the citizens of Florida when we recognize that the government is failing to act on things that we need. So we go out there and do it ourselves. So what the governor has done is said, hey, I don't like that process. And since I don't like that process, we're going to change that process. We're going to make it harder for citizens to get anything put on the ballot. We're going to make it we're going to make you pay $1 million bond for an organization or person that wants to go about this process. Now, $1 million bond doesn't mean that you have to pay $1 million. It means the organization has to put up between 7,500 and I think about, don't quote me on this, I think about it go between 7,500 and maybe 90 to $100,000 to get $1 million bond. That's a lot of damn money for anybody, but especially organizations that are trying to change the government. They most times are grassroots organizations. They most time are, mom and pop and business owners that are just don't have that type of money to put up. So for you to say the people of organization that want to put the ballot initiatives up have to put up $1 million bond payable to the Division of Florida of Elections, that's dirty. It also requires that all persons putting together or collecting petitions have to be Florida residents. Neither here nor there. But when you think about the number of people that, mind, Republicans do whatever they want to do, it lowers the amount of time that a petition getter has to turn in those signed petitions from 30 days to 10 days. That's a big difference. See how they're trying to make this process a lot more unattractive for anybody to want to get involved with. It also makes it a felony if you let a convicted felon or an illegal immigrant sign one of these petitions as well. So if you unknowingly get involved with one of those situations, you could potentially be facing a felony. And that's not an attractive thought for anybody to be thinking about. It revises the penalties for late submission of petitions from a flat rate to a rate of $50, ranging all the way up to $2,500. It triggers an automatic supervisor of elections investigation for any county or area that notes a 10% difference in voter registrations. So that's it's putting more hurdles in place for the average person to try and get anything done in the state of Florida. And they're doing this because we've seen recently marijuana get pushed forward. We've seen, battles over the right to abortion. And speaking of these battles, there's a clause tucked off in this bill that also prevents public officials from using public funds to combat or support any type of ballot initiatives. This is a double-edged sword. So while public funds can't be used to support a ballot initiative, we won't see situation like we've seen this past election where Governor DeSantis used $100 million of Florida taxpayer money to combat the marijuana initiative that the marijuana and abortion initiative that were put on the ballot by Florida citizens. This was a travesty and a gross misuse of public funds on every level. And the fact that the Republican led legislator just sat back and watched it happen shows you their complacency in this process. Unfortunately, what's done is done right now. And the only thing that can be done is for people to vote. I know a lot of people like to think that politics has no impact on their life or things of this nature can't be changed because they're just going to keep changing the rules. And that's not the way to think about it, because you have to think about the root cause of all this and how they got into that position to be able to vote, to be able to change things. And that was people voting or not voting. You have to vote, people. You have to vote. There are some people sitting in the Florida legislature right now that won their elections and they didn't even get half of the votes in their county or their city. We have some people that win local elections in your city that only got maybe 5,000 votes, if that. And your city's population is 100,000 people. So when you got somebody that is making decisions for your city and they got only 5,000 votes and your city's population is 100,000 people, it's something wrong there. And you're letting these people that don't have the support of even half their population make decisions that are changing your life and impacting your life on a massive level. And this ballot initiative fighting process that we're seeing in the state of Florida is not unique to only Florida. We're seeing it across the nation. It's a scary thing to see that your elected officials will get the results of an election and then say, well, you know what? The people that voted for this ballot measure, they don't know what they were voting for. They didn't understand it. So we're just gonna help them out and we're gonna just try and figure out ways to circumvent what they voted to approve. And these are the people that you say don't have any impact on your life because politics ain't got nothing to do with me. Or politics ain't like, we're seeing things like this happen because of the statements like that people make that say politics don't have nothing to do with their life. And it's a tough position to be in when you understand what's going on and you can see it and you're trying to enlighten people to what's going on here. And their response is, "Oh, well, politics ain't got nothing to me. I'm just gonna get this money." And they're overlooking the fact that the environment in which you're trying to get this money is ever shifting and changing. I graduated high school in 2002, and the world that I seen and aspired to become a part of in 2002 is not the same world that we're living in today. The goalpost has been moved back so many different damn times. I lost count. And this measure by Governor Ron Desantis is another attempt at moving the goalpost back because it's making the process of getting citizen led initiatives on the ballot even harder. And like I said before, this was not a situation where he signed this bill under great pomp and circumstance. He signed this bill very just nondescript. Even the description just, I can't even be like, have y'all seen this shit? Because there was nothing to see. Well, as always, guys, like, comment, share. Let me know if I'm tripping. Peace. Love you guys.